Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on today? Welcome one more time to the Big Time Show podcast that is being seen and heard live on Podbean, the original home of the podcast, being seen and heard live right now as we speak on Facebook, on the Big Time Show Facebook page and my personal page as well. And then, of course, it is going on right now on the YouTube page, the Big Time Show YouTube page. I'm on Twitter Live as well right now. I'm on the Sports Empire Network page as well. What's going on, everybody, on today? Glad to be with you. I was with you on last night talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies. But now we're back to the back to the basic. We know what we talk about here more than anybody. Well, not more than anybody, but more than we talk about anything else, at least on my show. And that is the subject of the Dallas Cowboys. It is almost time, y'all. The excitement is in the air. And so on today, we're going to have a little draft talk in which hopefully you guys will take over the show. If you're here with me, stay with me. If you're on Podbean, stay with me. Let's get ready to talk a little draft talk right now. Let me speak to, I see Isaiah. Hey, Isaiah, what's up, man? Thank you for popping in on me. Thank you for hanging with me. What's going on today? We're going to talk about that, but first let's handle just a little business. Listen, if you're on Facebook and you want to contribute to the podcast in any fashion, there's an item down there for you that are stars. You can use the stars if you so like to contribute to the podcast if you want. If you're on the YouTube page, you can use the super chat. It just recently happened that this edition was open. We made it to to another level in the podcast, and now you can go by chat. You can also become a subscribed member of the Big Time Show. It ain't gonna cost you nothing but $2.99 if that's what you want, or for a whole month. That's $24. And some odds say we're $25 once you add it all up. But this is a way that you can support the podcast there, or you can use the super chat right there, that little dollar sign at the bottom. You can use the super chat, and anytime that you use it, I will stop and read your comment because I owe you that much. If you're willing to do that, I will acknowledge you and your comment during the show. So those are the ways that you can help out. Of course, you can see on the ticker the ways that you can follow me. You can also use the Cash App if you want. You can see how you can follow me there. And so I would appreciate it if you did. If you don't, it's okay. We cool. What's going on today? Listen, let's talk cowboy talk. Let's talk cowboy talk. Let's talk cowboy talk. We are right a little bit outside of the draft now. And by now, most of you already kind of have an idea of what you want, what you're looking for, what you, I guess your dreams, or what you want it to be. And I believe among Cowboy Nation, it varies. I believe among Cowboy Nation, everybody kind of has a way that we think we want to go. But I want to just try to bring an element of common sense to this conversation about what we're going to do, and or most importantly, who we are potentially going to draft. Really, I'll make it even more simpler than that. I believe it's time for us to kind of lock in on position groups and see really if let me say that again, if we are drafting at 26, then within the first 2 rounds, definitely the first 2 rounds, and some would even argue and say the first 3 rounds, you're supposed to be getting a starter, day 1 starter. That's what usually happens when you get a first round draft pick, second round draft pick. You're talking about a guy who is going to come in immediately and make impact, and in some cases, immediately start. That's where you are. That's what usually happens, and it's kind of went down even to the 3rd round now, but definitely the first 2 rounds. You're looking for a day 1 starter. That's why I really want to start the conversation, because I think that's where the common sense is going to have to come into play, y'all. I really believe that. Like, Isaiah, if you still here, you're the only one I see that the comments so far. But if you're still here, let me know what position you think we ought to draft. Type that in and I'll keep talking since I see you in the building. Let me know what you're thinking. I see you, Isaiah. Let me know where you think we're going. DT, okay, defensive tackle or offensive tackle. Let's look, man. Since you said that, let's look and see where we are with defensive tackle. I believe you're 100% right. That is a position where, when I say that, I'm talking about out of all the position groups, what position, if you draft at 26, what position is really up for a guy to walk in and start day 1? I think you just hit the nail on the head with defensive tackle. Because if there was a position that could be a place where you will find a day 1 starter, it's got to be at defensive tackle. It's got to be. Let's look at our defensive tackles and let's figure it out. OC is there. I believe he's a starter. I believe OC is a starter. Jonathan Hankins. He's a starter, but how many downs can he play? Like, he can't play as many plays. You know what I'm saying? He had to be, and most guys are, but he really would have to be in a rotation. He's like for first and second down. When it's time to rush the passer at 3rd down, he's not on the field. So, I don't know if you really consider that a day 1 starter or whatever. Anytime you got to come off the field on 3rd down, your resume, at least your resume, ain't really popping like that. So Jonathan Hankins, he's obviously going to play, but I don't know. That's room for somewhat of improvement right there. If you ask me. Neville Gallimore. Well, Gallimore hadn't started. He's not a starter. He's had a couple years to get that done. Still can't get it done. Good rotational guy, but not a day one starter. Quentin Bohanna, same thing. Just good rotational guy. Chauncey Golston, who played a little defensive tackle, but he's too small. See what I'm saying? So, he'll get ate alive by some big guards and big centers and stuff like that. He's a more athletic type guy, so that ain't what you're looking for at D tackle. You're looking for a guy like Hankins, who's a plugger, a big guy that can hold it in the middle and let you, and in the course of that, let your linebackers run free to make plays. So the question is then, and I agree with you, Isaiah. I agree 100% with you that we need a defensive tackle day one type dude. But who is he? There's the question. The only defensive tackle that I've seen in the draft that gets the conversation is the kid from Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh. And he probably will be there at 26. He very well could be there. But is he really that type of dude that you're going to draft in the first round and bank all your hopes on him to be what? To be a, and who knows, he may have the same type of, recognition that Big Hankins has. I'm talking about the kid from Pittsburgh. He very well may just be a 2-down player too. Most defensive tackles, unless you Aaron Donald or somebody, they usually don't stay on the field for, first, second, third down. They usually don't. Aaron Donald's a little different. Calais Campbell, not today, but Donald definitely is a 3-down guy. There's not too many. Chris Jones from the Chiefs, he's a 3-down guy. I'm just trying to think of the best of the best. The kid, okay. I think Jonathan Allen from Washington fits that bill too. I think he's a 3-down player. Payne from Washington, Deron Payne, he's a 3-down guy. The kid from the Jets, Williams, forgive me for forgetting his first name, he is a 3-down guy. That kid from Tennessee, Simmons, he's that kind of guy too. So I'm really kind. I think that's a good spot for it, definitely. And I agree that we need some big plug, big guys, and I agree to 100%. I think that is the case. We do need it. I think that is a great spot to think about. So we got here the big guys that we need. That position, I think, is worth drafting at 26. And to be honest with you, look, when we start thinking about the Cowboys, at least from what I'm saying, as far as, what positions, let's just be honest, there aren't that many positions. There aren't that many positions that are open that will give you a day one starter. There can't be. I mean, seriously, let's just go down the list real quick. Hey, Miss Smith, I see you. Let's go down the list real quick. Day one starter if you draft in the first round. If you draft a quarterback in this year's first round, please, he's not starting. He's not going to even get on the field, regardless, unless an injury happens. I mean, Dak Prescott is the quarterback for the next God knows how many years. So you forget that. Running back, maybe. But nobody wants to pay a running back from the first round. That's the other thing. And for all my Cowboy brothers and sisters who only believe that Bijan Robinson is the only running back in this draft, you are sadly mistaken. There are some dudes in this draft that you can go all the way to the 4th and 5th round and find a good running back. And here's the other thing. We're not getting a guy at running back that will necessarily tote the load. Tony Pollard is there. Tony Pollard is going to get the ball, but he's not a bell cow type running back. See, Ezekiel Elliott left, and there were 231 carries that he had last year. So we got to find a way to get all those carries. Somebody got to take the load. Pollard got his, but Ezekiel Elliott had. Let me see. Pollard, I got a stat here that said Pollard touched the ball 232 times combined. He had 193 rush yards, and had 39 receptions. That equals out to be 232 times. Ezekiel Elliott carried the ball 231 times last year. He carried the ball 231 times. Pollard touched the ball, whether it's by passing or running. He touched the ball 232 times. Ezekiel Elliott carried the ball 231 times. So it's obvious we have to find somebody that can take those rushes and bring them back to us. So there are guys that are in the draft that are going to be projected in the 4th and 5th round that can do that job. It's just the truth. And so I don't know if it's just a necessity. If Bijan Robinson is, now don't get me wrong, if Bijan Robinson is there at 26, I would love to draft him. But if he's not, we can wait. So I don't think that's a day one starter. Even if you drafted, if Bijan Robinson is drafted, he's not a starter. Tony Pollard is. You don't want to draft even though the running back position with us kind of is a split type thing. I get all that, but he's not the number one guy. So I don't know if that's really what we really want to do on that part. Wide receiver. Well, here's the thing about wide receiver. A lot of people want wide receiver there. But are they going to be day one starters? The answer to that to me is no. Because you already got Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb. Those are your two outside guys. If you want to throw in a third slot type of guy, that spot as of right now is reserved for Michael Gallup. It's reserved for Michael Gallup. Yeah, I think I'm going to miss Zeke too, Isaiah. But that's reserved for Michael Gallup. So it's going to take a guy, if we draft wide receiver, if he's best player available, that guy going to have a real hard time jumping at least Michael Gallup for the third position. Remember, they're paying Michael Gallup. They gave him a big contract, remember? They're not going to sit Michael Gallup down. That's not about to happen. So I don't think wide receiver, I really don't think that's really even a debate, to be honest with you. Hey, Ultra Cowboy. No. If you're drafting a quarterback at number one, when he gonna play? At least with our team. If you're banking on Dak to get hurt, then I get what you're saying, but you're not drafting quarterback in the first round now. He would never play. He would never play. The Cowboys, if just in case you ain't figured it out, the Cowboys are locked in with Dak Prescott. It's just the truth. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised that in a few weeks or months, you're going to see that Dak Prescott got an extension. Huh? I'm just saying. It's not going to happen. We're locked in with them. They don't feel the way that we do. But they don't feel the way that some Cowboys do. Cowboy fans feel about Dak Prescott. They don't look at him that way. They look at him completely different, actually. He's going to be locked in. He's going to get another extension. They're going to redo his contract. He's going to get another extension. And he's going to be here for the next 7 to 8 years. I don't know why everybody's thinking that Dak about to be gone or they going to cut him or all that. It's not going to happen. It's not. So I'm going to have to give you pushback on that one, Ultra Cowboy. I don't think that you don't I don't think you draft quarterback at number one. I mean, in the first round at all. It just wouldn't make sense. When you draft first or second round, you projecting those guys to be day one starters. Day one. And certainly at quarterback, that ain't going to happen. So that's, it's just not going to happen unless Dak is injured. That's the only way. That's the only way it's going to happen. So back to running back. Same thing. You already paid Pollard. Pollard is slotted to be the number one guy if he's hurt. They've already got Robert Jones. They went and got, they still have Malik Davis. Then they went and got Rico Dowdle. Of course, a running back probably be better than that, but are they day one starters? And the reputation of it is, most Cowboy fans and the Jones family have already hinted like, if is it smart to draft a running back in the first round? I think they've already gave in and said, nope, it's not worth it. So I don't think that, and that kills to me the thought of Bijan Robinson coming to Dallas. It kills that because I think they made it very clear that they're not going to make that mistake again after doing that with Zeke years ago. Huh? It's just the truth. Ultra Cowboy says, didn't McCarthy draft Aaron and have him set for a couple of years? You telling yourself that Dak is here beyond 23. Well, didn't Aaron Rodgers stay? Aaron Rodgers is still a Green Bay Packer now. McCarthy is the one that left. That ain't changed. So, yeah, you locked. Aaron Rodgers played in Green Bay for more than 14, 15 years, or whatever it was. He's still a Packer right now. McCarthy's left and went to another team, so I don't agree with you on that one. So it is what it is. He's there. He's gonna be there. So we get through that part. Now we get to the part of the running back position. I don't think that that's a day one starter coming in. Probably there'll be day one starters for another team, but not day one starters for our team. I just can't see it. Tight end. Now here's the funny part. At least, based off what they did in college, there are some pretty good tight ends in this draft. Real good tight ends, actually. But are they better than Jake Ferguson and Hendershot and are they going? If they make the team, where are they in the depth chart? Where would the tight end be in the depth chart if you draft a kid from Notre Dame or Georgia? Where would they be? I mean, would they be day one starters over Jake Ferguson? I think that's a legitimate question. I think that's a real legitimate question. Where would they be if they were day one starters? Where would they be? I have no clue. I don't think so. Offensive tackle is the next one. Day one starters, well, that's a real all dependent upon the health. Uh, you know, Tyron Smith, all of a sudden gets hurt. Possibility there. If Steele is not ready to go, maybe a day one starter. But what happens when those guys get healthy again? Do the rookie go right back to the sideline? The answer to that is probably yes. The answer to that is yes. I don't know. I don't think that offensive tackle is one as well. I just don't see it. Unless, as you know, in Dallas Cowboy land, they can play multiple positions on the line. We love flex guys. Hey Joe, what's up? I see you. Appreciate you. If you talking about the guys having flex at offensive tackle, in other words, they can play guard, or not only tackle, but they can play guard, then maybe that might be something worth talking about. That might be something worth talking about. So far on my end, who would be day one starters from a position group? Quarterback, no. Wide receiver, no. Tight end, possibility. Offensive tackle, right now I'm gonna say no. Guard, there's an opening there at the left guard position. The left guard position, there's an opening for a starter there. No doubt about that. For the starter there is a opportunity for the left guard to happen again. The Cowboys don't necessarily have to draft a quote unquote guard. It could be a tackle as well who has the ability to play guard, kind of like what we did last year with Tyler Smith, who really was a tackle, but you saw we put him at guard, and the rest they say is history. So I'm not sold. I know that's a good spot. That a guard could be the number one pick. The kid from Florida comes to mind, at least in my mind immediately. That's a good possibility that he will be there at 26. So I'm going to add guard to my list. So far, my list is saying guard. It has a possibility of having a day one starter. That's really all I have. I don't have no one else. A guard could start day one. Center, no. Beatas just made the Pro Bowl last year. Give me a break. No, it's not going to happen. What about on the defensive side of the ball? What about defensive end? Day one starter. Well, the dude got to be special, number one, because look who he has to beat out. Number one, DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, and Sam Williams. Sam Williams should be really, to me, There's an argument that could be made that he should be our other DN, opposite side of DeMarcus Lawrence. I think Sam Williams is going to be a terror. He started showing the signs last year as a rookie. I believe that he's going to be a super problem coming up. But if you were to draft a defensive end at 26, where's that day one starter? I mean, he's not going to be the day one starter. He'll be lucky to get on the field. So I'm going to have to shoot that one down by saying we do not need a defensive edge rusher we don't need that. What's up, Greg? We don't need that as a day one starter. You're not going to get a day one starter draft a defensive end. You're not. It's too many people he has to go over at defensive end to even be a number two. Forget being number one starter. I'm going to say it again. At defensive end, as of right now, we have DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler Jr., and Sam Williams. There's no way that you're drafting the defensive rusher at 26 and thinking that he just would come in and just go day one start all that. That's not going to happen. That would not be a smart pick. All right. We've already talked about defensive tackle. I believe that that's a spot that has an opening for a day one starter. The kid from Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, comes to mind for me. Linebacker. Not a day one starter. Not a day one. I can see a guy getting drafted and being a rotational type guy. We're not a day one. So I think that would be a wasted pick, right? I mean, I understand who we have, LVE, and some of y'all don't like LVE, but they've already given him the money. They're loyal to people who they already given money to. They're not about to let LVE just come off the bench. Then you have the outside linebacker position. You got Damone Clark, who I think they have. See, it's some positions where the Cowboys already have the answer. It's on the inside. I think Damone Clark is ready to take that jump, but he'll be playing great football. I believe also that we already have Michael Parsons, obviously, so you know what that means. So it's really about the other outside linebacker, to be honest with you. And I really believe that Damone Clark is ready to take that next step. So I really wouldn't be worried about this. Some of the answers that we're looking for are already in the house. We don't have to look far. All we got to do is look within. Some of our answers are already in the building. Hey, what's up, Gary? I see you, brother. Thanks for popping in. I mean, yeah. I mean, Gary brings up a great point. It's a guy that we totally forgot about, and that's Takk McKinley. He's right. I just can't see a day one starter coming out. I can see us drafting linebacker without a doubt. But I'm talking about, because see, when you draft, here's my premise. Again, when you draft in the first round or the second round, those guys are projected to be day one starters. If they're not starting on week one, usually by about week 4 or 5, they're in there. And on the Cowboys team, my premise is that there aren't too many positions where there's a room for a day one starter. It's not. Let me move on like this. Safety, cornerback, the whole secondary. There's not a day. You might have a day one type of starter, but it won't be for this team. Look at all the cornerbacks and the safeties that they will have to go through just to even get on the field. I mean, come on now. Diggs. Our safety is we got safeties. We got Joshua. We got Curse. We have Hooker, and then we just signed Donovan Wilson. That's three. Those are all three. Our secondary is lit. If we go cornerback, Diggs and Gilmore would be our starters, no question. Then you got Jordan Lewis. Then you got Bland. You got Nahshon Wright still there, who's at the bottom tier, and then you got Boss Man Fat, who's still on this team. I just named 4 or 5 right there. There's rumors out that we gonna bring back Anthony Brown. There's rumors out there saying we're gonna do that. So it's really. There's no sense of talking about drafting the number one drafting the cornerback. They gonna come in being probably 4th or 5th on the depth chart. Now you can't have too many good ones. I'm just saying when you draft in day one or first round and second round, usually you're projecting those guys to be day one immediate starters. That's what usually happens. And I'm saying if there's some positions that just not gonna happen. It's not. Which means then if all I named was I named defensive tackle, I named guard, and that's it. Let me say it again about the running back. The Cowboys have been kind of hinting now for the last 4-5 months that, kind of saying like, if we could avoid drafting a running back in the first round, we would. They've learned that lesson through this ordeal that we got with Ezekiel Elliott right now. If they had to do it all over again, the Cowboys probably would have went in and drafted Jalen Ramsey. That's who was there at 4 for us. They probably would have went ahead and got Jalen Ramsey instead of going to get Ezekiel Elliott. I believe that. I really do. I really believe they had to do it all over again. They would have drafted Jalen Ramsey. It's gonna be real hard to find. If this was the Jacksonville Jaguars, we'll be having a whole different conversation. This is the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm telling y'all, the Cowboys don't have a lot of room for day one starters coming out the draft. Gary Whitney, he said we would have drafted Jalen Ramsey at 4 and then drafted Derrick Henry in the second round. That if they had to do it all over again, I promise you Ezekiel would have been in a different uniform by now. Not saying Ezekiel, of course, was not productive. He was. No question about that. He was a pioneer for this team, a warrior for this team. But trust me, they don't want to pay guys in the first round as a running back. They don't want to do that. They don't. And that's why I'm saying all this talk about Bijan Robinson, I don't know. Joe, I didn't agree with tight end. The only reason why I didn't agree with tight end day one starter is because of who the tight ends would have to jump in order for that to happen. Now, I'm not saying that we got 3 all-world tight ends, but they not no trash. I believe that Ferguson is our starter. I believe that Hendershot is our number 2. And I believe that the other guy that we have, forgive me if I forgot, I think it's, who was the third tight end? McKinnon. McKinnon is our third tight end. So if you were to draft a tight end, I mean, where would he fall in the in the depth chart? That kid from Notre Dame seems to be special. I like him. I like the kid from, well, I'm just talking about first round guys. The kid from Georgia is pretty good. Those is more than that. But I'm talking about day one. I'm talking about it picking at 26 and then picking in the second round. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about picking the third on down. I'm just saying because those guys kind of fall into the depth chart type thing. We want to answer your question, Joe. I don't think that whoever, if we were to draft a tight end in the first round, he wouldn't be the day one starter. I don't think that is. Yeah. Thank you, Gary. Gary said we got a tight end on the roster who can't get on the field. He's 6'7", and he plays tight end. I don't. That's why I'm saying that, Joe. You gotta. I'm just saying that's what all this about is today. Like, if you were to draft, which is really, I'm starting to lean toward this way because I'm looking at, okay, these guys are good. They're worth being drafted in the first round, but because the Cowboys have done such an excellent job in drafting and positioning these guys, that we don't have room for day one starters. Just about in only about 1 or 2 positions. That's it. Nowhere on offense, in my view. The only spot that you might consider is left guard. That's it. Everything else is solid. Everything. Running back, quarterback, wide receivers, tight end, right tackle, right guard, center, left tackle. The left guard position is the only spot that you might say, let's look into this. Defensively, the whole secondary, ain't nobody coming getting drafted and starting over none of them guys. Safety or cornerback. That I'm for sure on. You can forget that. Linebacker. The only spot that I think the answer is inside the building already with Damone Clark. That's just me. If you were to say another starter, it might be at one outside linebacker position because Michael Parsons and LVE got 2 of those spots already on lockdown. You already know that. So, if you don't believe in Damone Clark, that's on you. That might be the only spot. Defensive ends. There ain't no day one starter coming out of there. We still got to try to figure out a way to put Sam Williams on the field. I mean, and he's listed as a 4th on the depth chart. We got to figure out a way to get him in the game because he is a monster. So it ain't defense. It ain't no edge rushers. We already got them. You can always add another one, but I said day one starters though. Day one. They ain't gonna beat nobody there. He ain't gonna start over DeMarcus Lawrence. He ain't gonna start over Dorrance Armstrong. With 26 in the first round. All right, let's move on. We'll look at defensive rush. Defensive tackle may be the only spot on the defense where you say, okay, we need something right there. And it's only one. We ain't talking about over Osi. Osi is going to be your starter. We just need a guy that's going, we already got Hankins. But Hankins is more of a 2-down player. He's not an Aaron Donald type dude that can play all 3 down. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, you know, on passing downs, you don't want a big plug in there anyway. So that little stat is kind of misleading. Like, you need, first down, second down, you need that guy in the middle that's gonna clog up holes running. Exactly, Gary. Mazi Smith. We exactly, that'll be perfect. What's up, Daniel? I see you. We need a guy. That's the one spot I can see for sure that can pop in day one, the opposite side of OC. And he got to do a great job to get over Hankins too, I mean, because you just paid Hankins. So I'm saying you really got to, he got to be a dude. Because if not, Hankins going to be your starter. So I don't know, I really don't know where on the defensive line we're really talking about a day one starter. Now that kid from Pittsburgh, Gary, you said Mazi Smith. But that kid from Pittsburgh, I like him. Some say he kind of on the small end, but he plays big. I like him. I watched his tape. He's a problem. He can do it all. He can plug and he can get to the quarterback. That's the only one I seen that I say, okay, this dude is a problem. Yeah, that's why you say he'll be gone. Yeah. He may not last in 26. Now, of course, the Cowboys can move up. But is it worth it? Like, if they see a guy that they really, really like, and they're drafting at 26, and let's just say somebody's at 21, and you want to get up to 21 just to go get there, I'm saying that I don't know if it's worth it. Or to say Cowboys going to tight end or Drew Sanders at 26. People who think that Kincaid is Shoots 2.0 don't know football. Kincaid is a top 15 player in the draft. Well, I don't think we're going tight end at all. Not in the first round. I don't. I'm saying all this. Here's my real point. I'm saying this right here, y'all. Are we really drafting at 26? Let me just go and throw that out there. Because, see, if you ain't got a day one starter there and you got most of your positions filled, don't it make sense to go on, get that pickup to a team that want to move in there, possibly a team that's not in the first round, want to get in the first round, and you stack up on some more picks, since you pretty much going to be drafting for depth anyway. Since you're going to be drafting for depth anyway, because you ain't nobody coming in starting, don't it make sense wouldn't it make sense to have a lot of draft picks by simply trading and just stacking up picks? Since you gonna be drafting for depth, since you're gonna be drafting pretty much for depth, then if you can't find a day one starter, or who you know, or if you haven't projected a guy that you feel like, okay, this guy is gonna start. What's up, old Jose, my brother in the building? I'm just throwing out a theory. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong either. But I'm just throwing out this theory like this. Like, and again, I need y'all smart football guys to think now. I ain't just talking about getting a name, just get a name. If you can't project a guy to be a day one starter with your first round pick or your second round pick, the Cowboys are different than a lot of teams because you don't have a lot of spots that's open for a day one starter from this year's draft at 26. I'm serious. When you go down each position group and whoever you may be thinking we gonna draft, are they day one starters? Because that's what your first round draft pick is supposed to be. A day one immediate impact player that's supposed to start. I don't see too many spots on our team that's even open for that. I don't. And so if that be the case, like everybody talking about Bijan Robinson, like, okay, you talking about Bijan Robinson, but he ain't the day one starter. We need a guy that's gonna soak up these 231 carries that Zeke is leaving us with. I gave, for those that weren't just coming in, I gave a stat earlier that said that Tony Pollard touched the ball 232 times last year. 193 of them were rushing, and the rest were receptions. Let me look at it so I can give you accuracy. Let me give you some accuracy. Okay, Pollard touched the ball. He touched the ball 232 times, 193 runs, and 39 receptions. He touched the ball a total of 232 times, 193 rushes, and 39 receptions. Ezekiel Elliott carried the ball 231 times. So get the picture. Tony Pollard touched the ball, whether by passing or catching the ball, 232 times. Ezekiel Elliott ran the ball 231 times. That's just one less. And then Ezekiel had 17 pass receptions. But he rushed the ball 231 times. Pollard touched the ball. See the difference? 232 times. We do got to get somebody in, of course, that's going to soak up all these power rushing yards that Zeke going to leave on the table. So when you're talking about Bijan Robinson, I get it, but he's not a day one starter. I guess you could say his workload may be eventually a number one type dude, but Tony Pollard is our number one dude. They paying him like it. And we all know the Cowboys are loyal to their contracts. And whoever's getting paid, that's one got to be on the field. So I can see Bijan coming, but I can also see him, the Cowboys look at it as kind of like they did with Zeke and Pollard. They'll probably do the same thing with Bijan like that, but he's not a day one starter. Your day one starter is Tony Pollard. So I can see, Pollard touching the ball combined 25 times a game, between 22 and 25 times a game, rushing and receiving. And then I can see Bijan, if he come in, he'll get it probably somewhere around 14. That's not day one type dude. Day one type talent. Now don't get me wrong, now BJ Robinson ain't no joke. But on this team, is he coming in as your number two? You don't draft the first round for a number two depth chart dude. You don't do that. That goes against all football and whatever, knowledge or football, whatever. I don't see it. So like I said, y'all may see it different. And you're not wrong. I just see it like if the Cowboys don't have a day one starter, first or second round, I can see us trading back. I can see us stockpiling picks. We'll be drafting for depth anyway. Why not? Why not? Wouldn't you like to have multiple picks in some of these rounds? Wouldn't you like to have 2 picks in the second round? Wouldn't you like to have 3 picks in the third round or fourth round? I mean, it makes sense to me. I'm just saying. I can see it too, Gary. Gary said he see us drafting 2 running backs. And see, that's what I said earlier in the show. For all those that think the end all is Bijan Robinson, you lost your mind. There's some running backs in this draft now that ain't gonna be in the first round. They ain't gonna be in the second round. They ain't gonna be in the third round. There's some running backs in this thing that can flat out tote the rock. and can get the job done. So it's more than just Bijan Robinson in this draft. It is. And the running back position is loaded. The running back position is loaded this year. We don't have to just lock in on Bijan Robinson, and most importantly, we don't have to move heaven and earth to go up and get them either. There are some running backs in this draft. They are, and they can get the job done. Yeah. Jose says he sees us drafting a running back and bringing in Vaughn as well. If he goes undrafted, since his dad is one of our scouts. I mean, I don't have no problem with it. We just got to find a way to take a lot of this heat off Tony Pollard and make sure that some of these running backs soak up that 231 carries that Zeke is leaving on the table. That don't necessarily have to come through one guy. It can come through a committee. Just as long as you get there, we're going to play the same way and let Pollard be an arm and switch knife that can get you all type of ways, but not making him the bell cow. Then I can get that. Let's just make sure that we get what we need. And so that's really all I want to leave y'all with, because we're getting closer, and all y'all doing all these mock drafts and all that kind of stuff. And I'm saying, yeah, the 12 touchdowns, exactly. That Zeke had last year. So, while you're doing your mock drafts and all that, my only question to everybody is that may do it, and I've done some mock drafts myself, is like the way that the NFL is built, the way that the money that is given to a first rounder, because now you're also talking about an team option, or a player option. Really, it's the team option for that 5th year. All this comes into play, and it's like, okay, is this dude gonna start day one? No. Okay, let's look at our contract. Is this dude gonna start year 2? No. What about year 3? I'm glad by then, they'll be on the field, but I'm talking about day one starters. And if you picking a guy in the first round and you're finding out that he should be a starter in year 3, no, that ain't how the ball game's supposed to work. And that's what's going to happen for a lot of these guys. You're wondering. A prime example on this would be Sam Williams. Sam Williams is a problem. But because they were loyal to Dorrance Armstrong, they started falling in love with Fowler, and rightfully so. These guys had sacks and all that. But it put Sam Williams kind of like the fourth defensive end, and here it is, year 2. I mean, are you gonna let Sam really make an impact, or are we gonna wait to year 3? Well, guess what? It's time for contract time now. You still don't know what you need to know. And Sam was picked in the 2nd round. You see what I'm saying? Sam ain't gonna start this year. Sam ain't gonna start. There's an argument could be made that he should. But Sam ain't gonna start over Dorrance Armstrong. Dante Fowler's gonna get in on the pass rushes. Sam gonna have to relieve somebody just to get in. I'm just saying. Sam Williams is a beast. Every time he got in the game last year, something pretty good was happening most of the time. The pressure, the strength, all that kind of stuff. He needs to be on the field. He does. But he's not. But he's not. Because the Cowboys are loyal to guys that they pay. They give him, look, we paid Dorrance Armstrong all that money. He got to play. Yeah, we know the other dude is performing probably at a higher level, but no, we don't care. We paying him X amount of dollars a year, and by God, he is going to play. That's how the Cowboys do stuff. So again, A left guard, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. That kid from Florida, some Cowboy fans don't like him, some do. Look, if you can go ahead and bring him in, if you feel like he's worth it, he's gonna probably end up starting day one. I can see that. I can see that. And I get it. But if you talking about picking an offensive tackle, unless an offensive tackle can play guard, the Cowboys love flex. So if that be the case, then hey, I get it. But if you talking about picking a cornerback at 26, you wasting time. You wasting time. I don't care if it is Joey Porter Jr. He's not starting over Gilmore. He's not starting over Diggs. Matter of fact, he won't even be the third cornerback on your team. If Jordan Lewis is held, Joey Porter. If you pick a Joey Porter, he's probably gonna be better than Nahshon Wright and probably Boss Man. That's it. Because see, the fight gonna be is him between him and Bland. And Bland is right now probably listed as your fourth cornerback behind Jordan Lewis if he's healthy. You see what I'm saying? So ain't no sense talking about drafting a cornerback in the first round. I don't even care if he's best player available. I don't care. I ain't drafting no guy in the first round so he can be primarily special teams. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, ma'am. No. We ain't drafting guys so they can be on the special teams. That's not the impact we're talking about. Impact players, special teams for guys who are lower on the depth chart. That's what they're for. Not for first round draft pick. Oh no. Oh Lordy. No. So that leads to my theory. If we're really talking, there's nobody really there that you don't project as a day one starter, then trade back. Stockpile the picks. That's what I would do. And I don't think we would be wrong in doing that. I guess the argument could be made and say, hey, there's nothing wrong with going with best player available as well. I agree, but when they gonna play? In the first or the second round? When? If they ain't getting but 2 or 3 snaps on the field, then that ain't it. That's not it. So that's all I got for you guys today. Listen, I appreciate all you guys for hanging with me. Again, if you're on Facebook, you can support the podcast by the stars that you see as you're looking right now. If you're on YouTube, on my personal page, the Big Time Show YouTube page, if you want to go that route, you can simply look down at the bottom of your screen there. You should see the super chat button. There's probably something else there as well. You can support the podcast that way as well. But I'm done. I appreciate all you guys for hanging with me. I'm not going to do the phone lines on today. I apologize for that. Something is wrong with my phone. Well, at least last time I checked. But the phone line will not be open on today. I tell you what, if you really want me, I'll hang with you. I'll hang with you just for a second because I do want to make time for what you have to say. If you're on YouTube, hit that super chat button if you can, and I'll read your comment immediately. If you're on Facebook, just write it in, and I'll ask you. You may have a question for me or a comment real quick. I can do that now. Let me see if you're on Podbean. Ms. Smith is there. What's going on? I still see you over there. Thanks for hanging with me. Type away, y'all, because if not, I'm gonna get out of here. I got school work to do. I got school work to do. Go ahead and type it in real quick if you have a question or anything like that. And I can read it. All right, going once. Somebody might be typing real fast, so I spread it out. Well, let me just ask y'all this question. Let me just ask y'all. I'll help you out. Does it make sense what I said today? Like, do y'all see us after hearing what I had to say? Do y'all see us trading back? I mean, based off what it's supposed to be, day one starters. First, second round, those guys usually are your day one starters. Immediate. You draft them for impact. Immediate guys. Do y'all see us trading back? Cause I don't see it. And because we drafted so low in the first round, doesn't it make sense to move back, since essentially you're gonna be drafting for depth? Since you're gonna be drafting for depth, doesn't it make sense to get more extra picks for depth? It doesn't make sense. I think it makes sense to me. All right. Joe said if Jerry Jones has his eyes on a player that he likes, he may move up. But will it be worth it? And the player that he wants, I mean, who is that guy? I mean, I think the only guy that we've heard kind of fit that bill, and you ain't heard the Cowboys say it, was Bijan Robinson. That's it. That's it. All right, I'm done. Joe, you already put your hands together, Miss Smith. Go ahead and crank and give me in Jangle. Hey, I see you. Thanks for popping in. I'm at the end of it now, but thanks for popping in, Jangle on Podbean. Appreciate you with your appearance here in the show. We're gonna try to do it again on Monday at 7 p.m. Y'all come on, hang with me, and we can go ahead and get on out of here. Y'all know how we jam out. Joe already gave me the hand claps, so I already know it's just time to go now. Joe, appreciate you hanging with me from Italy, of course. Thanks for popping in on me. I'm out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. This has been the Big Time Show.